Now let's go straight to Genesis 27. Let's go. Come on.
Genesis 27 and verse number 39.
Let's go straight to it. Read.
Yes, sir. And Isaac his father answered and said unto him, Behold, thy dwelling shall be the fatness of the earth, and of the dew of heaven from above. And by thy sword shalt thou live.
By thy sword you shall live, Esau. Esau begged his father, is there anything you have for me? Jacob will own everything. And our father Isaac told him, there's nothing I can give you. Anything you get on this earth, Esau, you're going to need the sword to take it. And this is why Esau began to colonize and take other countries, because why? If you already have a country, there's no need to colonize. But if you don't have a promise and living in the mountains, starting with the mountains of Mount Seir, then the mountains of Russia, any power given you must be the power you get by killing other people. And who gifted him with that? Isaac. Because the prophecy was out there that if Jacob falls, if Jacob sinned against God by default, no other people can rule in this earth outside of God's people, his bloodline. So if we're not ruling, by default, Esau become the leader of this earth. And all of the Gentiles will follow him because their power is an extension of him. The same way when we're in power, the other nations began to align themselves under our power. Like David had other races in his army and all that, because the Gentiles are just pieces on the board. Okay? The Gentiles are just pieces. They go to whichever side that have power. And it says here, and Isaac his father answered and said unto him, Behold, thy dwelling shall be the fatness of the earth. Read.
And of the dew of heaven.
Read.
From above. And by thy sword shalt thou live.
You shall live by the sword, Esau. Read.
And shalt serve thy brother.
And as long as your brother is in line with the law, in line with the promise I've given him, you must serve him. See, this is why Esau promotes debauchery, evil, sin amongst our community, understanding the law of Torah. As long as our people are sinning in number, by default, they rule the earth. See, that's the law. That's the rules. As long as we willingly partake of the wrong side of the garden and eat that fruit, the tree of knowledge of good and evil, as long as we take a bite of that fruit, Esau is in position by default. And by thy sword shalt thou live. Read.
And shall serve thy brother, and it shall come to pass.
So you think Esau is trying to give up his power only to serve us? Are you kidding me? Esau would very well destroy the whole earth before he allowed that to happen. He would very well destroy the whole earth before he allowed that. But he know the prophecy. So because he loved ruling, so in order, he think he can sustain his power as long as he can continue to have Israel sin against our God. As long as our people running around like Sexy Red and all these others, and women out there showing themselves as harlots. As long as our brothers following behind the evil. As long as we begin to sin against God and not establish ourselves as men of God, why you think that the record companies and others will always promote evil and wickedness? Why do you think, even though Denzel is probably the best actor that have ever entered the earth, he didn't get an award until he played a crooked, wicked man? And I need y'all to check that out. Why do you think so? They'll put money behind that. Because as long as we operate under that image, Esau, our big brother, rules by default, and therefore he don't have to utterly destroy the earth. As long as we're sinning, he consolidates and keep power. Hence the reason, the importance of us to come back under our God, our Bible, and get on code according to God's law. Right? Let's finish reading.
Yes, sir. And it shall come to pass, when thou shalt have the dominion, that thou shalt break his yoke from off thy neck. And Esau hated Jacob.
And Esau did what?
And Esau hated Jacob.
And Esau hated Jacob. Read.
Because of the blessing wherewith he blessed him.
Because he knew that the prophecies were etched in stone. Esau hated Jacob. He knew the prophecy that eventually we would have rulership for an eternity. So Esau has bribed all these other nations, East Indians, Arabs, and all of them in alignment together to help him consolidate and keep power. He have always dealt with social engineering, moving people around to align themselves against his only real prophetic threat. His own, and let me tell you, folks, he promised that what? He promised, he hated Jacob, right? And read it, Elder Lawyer.
And Esau hated Jacob because of the blessing wherewith his father blessed him.
Come on.
And Esau said in his heart, the days of mourning for my father are at hand.
Read.
Then will I slay my brother Jacob.
I'm coming after Jacob. I'm coming after you. It's all about power and rulership prophetically, folks. They'll make you believe the Bible doesn't matter, but everything they're doing is to stave off the prophecies in it. They're telling you, oh, I'm an atheist. I don't believe. But guess what? No sooner as they're, amongst themselves, they got our books open. They got that Bible open. Oh, we got to stop Jacob. Oh, Jacob is finding out he's Israel now. His family is doing less crime and evil. We got to do something. They'll tell you they don't believe. But the political construct tells us that they understand the prophecies according to the word. Folks, if they didn't believe, they would not have worked politically to have our Torah and be what? Recognized in the Middle East as the people. But they got people in the Western world believing, who knows whether or not Christ was born? Whoever known whether or not the Israelites existed? They'll say all that crap over here to disrupt our people who are ignorant to the fact that we are the children of Israel. To destabilize us. But they're all up in this book, folks. This book is powerful. And I'm going to use this book to expose them today. Because Esau had a son by the name of Zepho. Speaking of AHAYAH, right? Because why? The alpha, the emblem I showed y'all earlier. Let's go back to the emblem. Let's go back to the Alfa Romeo. It's an Italian car. So how do we link all this together? Well, let's go to the book of Genesis 36. Right? Right? Let's go here. Let's go to the book Genesis 36, right? Elder Lawyer?
Yes, sir. Genesis 36, verse number 1.
Come on.
Now these are the generations of Esau, who was Edom.
Let's get there so they can see it. Now you notice I showed y'all the Italian car and that emblem, right? What that represents. I'm going to get it in a moment. Let's go here. Genesis 36. Let's go down to Zepho. Now, matter of fact, let's go to Genesis 36 and 1 first.
Genesis 36, verse 1. Now these are the generations of Esau, who is Edom.
Who is Edom, right? Now, mind you, folks, the Bible stated in prophecy that what? It stated that Esau, that two nations were in the woman's womb. Two nations shall be separated from thy bough. So now, here is when Esau becomes a separate nation. He went into Mount Seir. That's right, climbed that mountain like you see in 300, like you see that Nephilim climbing that mountain to speak to the seers. Esau climbed the mountain and connected with the serpent, Satan. He says, my brother have the kingdom. Give me power. Give me power to oppose my brother. This is where Satan went to gain power. Mount Seir. You will never hear anyone, folks, break it down like you get into this today. Because what they'll do is they go and showing Esau, but they don't show the religious connection of how this is where he found Lucifer, Satan, the serpent. This is where he got the blueprint to come against us. The Bible. Is it hard to understand?
When it comes to reading the Bible, the first thing that comes to mind is the fact that this is the Word of God.
The seals have been broken, and the truth is here.
And when we go throughout the scriptures, when we go throughout extra biblical records, we find that the language that God employed, that he used to create the heavens and the earth, was the Hebrew language.
Christ said, I came for the lost sheep of the house of Israel. But yet no one, no religious leader, no religious church out there anywhere can now identify the 12 tribes of Israel. Can we? God is quite simple, but it seems as if man makes understanding him hard.
What are those mysteries?
The truth of your book. And the truth will make you free. The Hebrew and Bible Academy. You're invited.